This time the chair lays out HB10 and HJR5 and recognizes its author, Chairwoman Thompson, to explain the bill and the joint resolution. Chair offers up substitute for House Bill 10. Chair lays out the substitute for HB10 and recognizes Chairwoman Thompson to explain the substitute.
Mr. Chairman, members, the substitute is merely adding some additional medical entities and personnel to this particular bill because it's going to be a bill that's going to be driven by research. This bill is to establish somewhat board similar to the secret that we did back when we did the cancer secret bill many years ago. I have been working closely with the UT Health Science Center in Houston and the Texas Legislative Council in drafting the bill and the substitute and the HJR5. And as you have watched the news all over the state of Texas, we have been looking at problems, and we've been inundated with shootings and fights and schools asking for more money and needing more money to put up security mechanism in the school to keep the kids safe. And in spite of all those particular things, nothing had really worked. So in an effort to try to find out why our kids are so violent, why is there such an escalation in the mental conditions of children, and then what are some of the unknown factors that we have not even discovered that may be happening and may be targeted in the brain of children that we need to investigate.
Chairman Frank.
How consistent is the advice that a child is likely to get through a network between the different professions? I mean, it seems like there's just a tremendous variety of thought in what that advice may be in terms of, you know, the underlying reasons, as you mentioned. It's hard to imagine much consistency across the spectrum.
And I think probably what you're speaking to is how there are so many unanswered questions within psychiatry. We often talk about it being somewhat of an art instead of pure science, right?
And there's some that have been answered a long time and we ignore.
And that's absolutely true. The best practices are not well disseminated, and that's part of the challenge. I think that House Bill 10 will help with that. But when there are, when things are left to clinical acumen and the diagnostician to answer, rather than there being an available brain scan or blood test or diagnostic test that we can do to give you a solid, concrete answer, there's more variability in the answer that you're going to get, right? So if you go to your doctor and you get a tumor biopsy and they do, genotyping on that tumor, it's a very concrete answer. But when you're doing an interview with a patient and you don't have a blood test or a brain scan or an EEG that can give you an answer that's very concrete, it's a bit more variable.
So in the case you just read with the 6-year-old that is traumatized, abused, you're going to do brain scans and blood tests to see whether or not.
I think that's where the research potential is an unknown. We can't predict exactly where it will take us. I think there is potential for that kind of diagnostic test guiding treatment in the future. We've seen some of that with pharmacogenomics and the testing that they're beginning to do to look at how we can guide our prescribing practices based on people's genetic profile. That's just one example, but we're really early in that science. We're not there yet.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Judy Powell, and I'm with Parent Guidance Center, and we help children involved with CPS, well, parents of children involved with CPS. And we also do parental rights advocacy, legislative advocacy. We don't see like a robust privacy policy, so any research institute you're going to have research subjects, and so especially in this bill, it's very prescriptive. And one of the things that concerns us is that the genetic component, they say they're going to include researching the most recent pharmacogenetic strategies, the genetic determinants of addiction, and the genetic causes of behavioral health issues. So any research, especially when it involves genetics, you need to have like even extra robust privacy protections, information protections for that information, because genetic information can really impact the future of people and the databases that it goes in and the tiebacks. When you start saying that you're mentally ill for genetic reasons and then you're going to predict oh, we think your kids are gonna be medically ill, then, I mean, I hate to say the word eugenics, but it really makes me uncomfortable. And so when you put this prescriptive language in there, we really, from the get-go, need to have very robust privacy policies and where that information lives and who has access to it. So those are a few of our concerns with the bill, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Members, any questions of Ms. Powell? Representative Zedler.
So what you're saying is we need to absolutely make sure that the information is separated from any names of any students, that kind of thing?
Yes, and a lot of times I talk to like experts that they talk about, oh, information's de-identified. Oh, don't worry about it. Well, there's algorithms now that can or unde-identify or whatever you want to call it. And we've looked into different registry lists and that sort of thing. And I've absolutely been told that even when you de-identify, if you don't have certain firewalls, etc., they can just put that information back together and then they sell it. And so, I mean, there's insurance, future employment implications, just like the one doctor said, like if it got out that, you know, she had a mental illness, you know, that could affect future employment, that sort of thing. So we're concerned about that.